time, the government is releasing videos of Charleston church shooter Dylan Roof speaking with his family members while in jail. Roof was sentenced to death in January, and though these videos aren't released for air to the public, News 2's Libba Holland watched them in federal court today. Libba joins us now to explain what was in those videos. Libba?
Brendan, the videos show 3 almost hour-long visits from Dylan Roof's family members to the Al Cannon Detention Center. The conversations that are at times lighthearted, Roof joking with his family, asking about his cats and clothing, but the trial is often brought up in their conversations, at one point bringing his father to tears. The first jailhouse video we watch is between Dylan Roof and his parents, Amy Roof and Ben Roof, just before his competency hearing began in November. His father asks him questions that seem to be so that he can determine Roof's competency, asking, quote, "Do you go back into the courtroom Monday?" To which Roof replies, "What's a courtroom?" Then, "What does the judge do?" As his father explains the courtroom and the judge, Roof begins laughing. It becomes clear later in the conversation Roof understands that he's about to go through a competency hearing and he knows the facts of the case. Later in the conversation, at the mention of Roof's attorneys, Roof calls them, quote, evil, telling his parents, quote, do not trust my lawyers. Roof also calls his attorneys crazy for thinking he has autism and says they're misdiagnosing him on purpose, to which one of his parents said, quote, in order to save your life. Toward the end of their visit, a conversation between Roof and his father leads Roof to say, quote, I'm going to do something even worse before it goes to trial. That brings his father to tears, and Roof tells his mother that he was kidding. His mother tells him, quote, baby, nothing can be worse than what you've already done. Before the session ends, both parents tell Roof they love and miss him. Roof yells to his mother seconds before they're cut off. I love you, I love you, I love you, bye. So it's clear in those videos that Roof, you mentioned, doesn't have any remorse. None toward what he did, and he seems to understand what's going on in the trial, and always laughs when his parents tell him to trust in his attorneys, and he just writes it off almost in a joking manner. Now, another thing that his father said to him in that first video, after Roof made him upset with one of the comments, his father said, quote, you know everything you've done reflects on this family.
Yeah, and this is 3 hours that you sat there and watched this. It wasn't the only one recording. There were several different recordings at several different times.
Absolutely. So the first one was right before the competency hearing in November. The second visit took place right after the trial finished in early December, actually middle December, just before Christmas. It was a visitation from his father and his sister, and then the final video was just days before the sentencing phase began, in which his mother and boyfriend and his mother's boyfriend came to visit him, and I'll have more about those conversations coming up on News 2 at 6. Still going through my notes, 3 hours of videos, a lot of note taking for that.
Yep, he's got a lot of time to think about it. Thanks, Libba.